The man threw handfuls of cash out the window, driving the crowd below into a frenzy. People even wished someone would jump every day if it meant free money, but the man had another purpose. He was covering for his brother Jonah across the street, who was about to pull off a heist. Jonah and his partner headed to their prepped location, set up the wiring, dragged over a steel plate, connected it to the line, secured it in the center, drilled a hole, planted the bomb, and covered it with a mattress. Once everything was ready, they waited for Nick's signal. When Nick got the message, he let out a scream that perfectly matched the sound of the explosion, but the real test was still ahead. He then asked Lydia for a cigarette to calm his nerves. Lydia lit her last one and handed it to him, then passed the half-smoked cigarette to her colleagues inside so they could lift Prince off the butt. Meanwhile, Jonah and his partner crawled through the blasted hole into the air duct. They jammed a metal bar into the fan to stop it, bent the blades, slipped through, punched in a code, and sent the elevator up to the top floor. From inside the shaft, they made it down to the level of the diamond vault. Next, they had to get past the surveillance zone. Jonah lay flat on a skateboard, covered himself with a cloth that matched the floor's color, and slid forward while the guards, distracted by Nick's suicide stunt on the news, never even noticed. Once they reached a blind spot, Jonah snapped photos of the camera feed, printed them out, stuck the copies on boards, and placed them in front of the cameras to fake the footage. Just when things seemed to be going smoothly, they hit a problem. A brand new sensor had been installed in the hallway. This was not part of the plan. Jonah panicked and looked to Nick for help, but with negotiator Lydia right in front of him, Nick couldn't say anything directly. Instead, he disguised the message in his conversation with her. Jonah didn't get it at first, but his girlfriend suddenly realized the truth. It was a heat sensor. All they needed to do was drop the temperature. They grabbed a fire extinguisher, spraying as they moved forward until they froze the sensor completely. Finally, they made it to the vault door and started setting up tools to enter through the side air duct. At the same time, police identified Nick through his fingerprints. He was the ex-cop who had been arrested years ago for stealing diamonds and had only just escaped prison the day before. To make matters worse, the hotel he was in belonged to Harris, the owner of those diamonds, and Harris's diamond exchange was right across the street. The chief immediately ordered the security captain to check the vault. Lydia finally realized Nick wasn't planning to jump, fronted him at the window, and Nick confessed the truth. Years earlier, he had been assigned to escort the diamonds, but two masked men ambushed him and stole them. He was framed as the thief and sent to prison. The real mastermind was Harris himself. Back then, Harris's company was on the verge of collapse, so he orchestrated the theft of his own diamonds to collect a massive insurance payout. Nick was just the scapegoat. The diamonds had been with Harris all along, and everything Nick was doing now was to find them and prove his innocence. He had learned the two masked men were actually cops, which meant this was the only place he was truly safe. Meanwhile, Jonah and his partner were deep into the mission when they got word that the security captain was heading their way. With no time to escape, Nick pulled out a wad of cash and tossed it down into the crowd again. As bills rained from the sky, the people below swarmed to grab them, blocking the security team's path. Jonah and his partner used the distraction to quickly clean up the scene, slipping into the air duct just as security arrived.